Howdy-o! Today is the first of 5 speed builds for my new island, Cordelia. I'm so excited. We're going to be doing all 10 villagers' houses, and through these houses we're going to kind of get a feel for what the whole island's vibe is without doing the whole island yet. This is one of the coolest perks that comes with buying Happy Home Paradise, the ability to remake all your villagers' houses. This just really adds to the story behind your island, and I am letting every single villager on my island have a different special role that contributes to the theming of it all as a whole, instead of them just feeling like you are a person living in a house. Now it's like, you're a baker, you're a fisherman, you're a farmer, or something like that. And it's just, it's so cool. Before I hop into the builds, let me give a quick rundown of what Cordelia is. So Cordelia is an ocean-based island. Half of the island is symbolically underwater, and the other half is raised land portions. And on top of that, it is also going to be a 4-season island. So for the ocean, in the middle-ish area there on the first level is the Mermaid's Domain, home of Marina, and that is set in spring. Moving to the top left is our summer portion, home of the Shark Mafia with Octavian. Moving to the southern section, that is the Farm Core Village, which will be set in fall and houses Plucky, Vesta, Chevre, and Rasher. And then moving all the way up north, that is the Ice Kingdom, which will of course be set in winter, and it is home to Queen Tutu and her 3 penguin subjects, Frigga, Tex, and Boomer. And of course there's still like other little areas here and there that I'll mix in as filler, but like those are the main bang. Alright, let the builds begin! First up is Vesta, the beautiful, wonderful sheep. And her home before was this log cabin, and I'm keeping the same log cabin. She starts with a laundromat, and we're gonna do a similar idea. Here's going through wall options. This always takes me like 10 minutes. And once we're settled on that, we can go into what we're actually doing for this room, which she is the town's seamstress. So I want this to be a mix of like her own home, where like half of it is work, but the other half is where she lives. So she's gonna have a kitchen, a place to sleep, and then there's gonna be her like sewing, clothing, jig-a-majig going on in the other half. And you see that coming together. Little bedroom in the corner, little kitchen in the right corner, and then up towards the front we have her sewing station, and then the other side where she's cutting the projects to go to the machine. And moving on to the wall stuff, just doing some little cutesy things. They don't really add to her story, but they do like fill space, which I love, and a rug. Oh, I love the rugs. They really add to a room. I actually struggle with games now when they don't have rugs. I'm like, what am I supposed to do? This floor looks so blank. All right, and here is the finished house. There's the outside, and going in, here is her space. It's so cute. I love it. She deserves it. Vesta is so sweet. She has a kind of creepy face, if I'm being honest, but at the same time, I think she's so cute. And going in for a little close-up shot. I love walking through the space, feeling like I'm really there. There's me blowing off her, waving. Oh, cuckoo clock. It happened to be noon, and I've never seen like the cuckoo go off so many times. There's been a couple times where I'm filming and it goes off, and then I turn and it's already done. So it was fun to catch the noon going off, which is particularly long. Anyway, here is the finished space. Just so sweet. I love the thing hanging in the corner, the flying mobile. I made one of those in real life after seeing it in Happy Home Designer and being like, that's so cool. It was a flying pig. Overall, super cute space. And we are moving on to Plucky. I don't really like Plucky, but I needed a sisterly villager, so. And there's her house before and after, and this is the beginning. She had like an ocean themed one. She used to be an island villager. And there's picking wallpaper. Finally, I decided to settle on this like homey, simple one, and then I did the whole window effect with a mountain in the background. And she is the resident farmer, so I want to give her a farmhouse, and then just in this corner I'm doing like stuff that relates to her job. So farming stuff in the corner, the supplies she needs to do her job tending to crops, but everything else is going to be her house, you know, kitchen, place to eat, and a nice little bed. And here is the test of what little carpet works there. I went, maybe I don't need one. And then I was like, no, I need one. And I settled on that one. I don't love it, but it's fine. And then adding the lighting. I love these milk lights. They're so cute. And wall stuff. Just throwing out my options to see what works. And another cuckoo clock. I love the cuckoo clock. I want one in real life, but I know it's probably not that cool. And now for the tiny items. I always love the small items. They really bring a room together, really make it shine. I love the nearly busted radio. I end up going with that to be like the music in this room. And I think it's kind of annoying because it does like weird squiggling sounds, but I'm very excited for it to show up in my trash one day because I think it's so adorable. Anyway, oh, the brown sugar cupcakes. Love those, so cute. And I'm always a fan of the pull apart bread. Here is the end result. Oh, so cute. I just love the piping food in the corner there. It just makes it feel like home, and the fire underneath the pot. Here's our close-up walkthrough. And then I do love the little storage area. It's not as cute as everything else, but it does indicate her job. What she provides for the island and the village and everything. And there she is. She's kind of weird looking. She's growing on me more and more, but I'm still like not that fond of her. I like the little coconut to hail back to her days as an islander, but everything else is just... Houses were pretty similar, so for a little change of pace, we're moving on to Rasher, my sweet, sweet boy. Here's his house, before and after. Same kind of shape, but just different colors. And he had this ugliness, this previous house. So here we are going through the wallpapers and floorings. I always take forever to do it, so I sped it up super fast for you so you can barely see what's happening. Anyway, and throwing things out. So Rasher's story for this island is that there is a pirate shipwreck just north of the village. And he was one of those pirates in the wreck. He's the only one who survived, and he was kind of adopted onto the island, and he became their fisherman. So this is kind of his fisherman shop where he prepares the fish to sell out on the main street. I really love Rasher. I loved him in Wild World, but I forgot how much I loved him. And so I decided I needed a pig, so I was like, you know what? We're gonna give him a chance in New Horizons. And I moved him in, and I adore him. He is now literally my favorite villager. I love him so much. And along with being his place of work and his shop, he does have a little bed tucked in. You know, he's a pirate. He's used to tight spaces, so he doesn't have like a ton of amenities or anything for himself. It's just a little bed and a barrel. And of course, he uses the kitchen and things that he also uses for his shop. All right, and here is the final reveal. The outside of his house adds a lot to it too. And there he is in his house. I love him so much. I wouldn't call this cute, but I definitely still love the fisherman aesthetic of it all. And I just love that he's here. Definitely much better than whatever was going on before. Oh, I love when he does that face. Alright, and here's what Rasher walks through every day. He goes back here to cook up some food. Over here, he prepares the fish and all that jazz. Boom, we got Chevrolet. I never know if I'm pronouncing that right. Chevrolet is running the bakery on our town, and I also love her so much. Alright, here's our house before, and here is after. Just kind of a normal looking house. Oh, and she was one of my original move-ins. So we're starting out with that basic house design. Moving in, lots of wallpaper choices to make, and flooring choices. This one was hard because all of them were good, but this is what I settled on. And of course, throwing out some bakery things. I just love the dessert display case. It is so adorable. Of course, if you're baking food, you need ovens and a checkout counter and all that jazz. I did play with the idea of having like a little place to sit and eat, but I have little places to sit and eat throughout the village area, so I just decided to put some random crap in the corners. I don't love the random crap in the corners, but it's fine. It's livable. Alright, moving on to the little stuff that makes this place adorable. Obviously, with it being a bakery, we're gonna have a lot of little baked goods. And then there's the wall items. Pretty simple stuff. I'm using the same stuff over and over. I've been impressed with how many wall items are in New Horizons compared to New Leaf, but there still really isn't that many. Something to improve on for the next game. So you see a lot of repetition, especially if you're doing similar styles. And then there's the great mat debate, and I finally settle on, you will see in this lovely final reveal, just a little entrance mat. That's all that made sense, but I wanted to put more down. Anyway, here it is. It's very cute. Oh, it just makes me, it almost gives me goosebumps. It's just so like warm and delicious. Ah, I love it. I love the frosted pretzels too, and the display case and everything. Oh, there she is waving, welcoming us into her store. Love it, love it, love it. And here's a close-up. I just love imagining walking up to that dessert case and ordering some. Oh, I never do in real life because they're too expensive from a dessert case, but virtually, we'll imagine it. And moving on to our next one, we are moving into the ocean spaces. So Marina will be in the mermaid's turf. Here is her house before and after. Pretty similar. Oh, and she starts out with the cute series and everything being pink. While cute, we need some more mermaidy vibes. So I threw out some mermaid stuff, some rattan stuff, trying to decide what vibe I wanted to go through. But I decided I want to honor Marina and her love of the cute series. The cute series is the remake of the Lovely series from the first 4 games, and she has always had the Lovely series in her home. So I felt like I had to include the cute series, but I just turned it blue to fit with the ocean theming. And since this is the mermaid princess's like best friend, this is where she chills, this is where she hangs out, I've decided half of the room is going to be dedicated to like play places for the two of them. This is basically the mermaid princess. This is where she gets away from it all, where she comes to hang out after her lessons on mermaid princessing. And Marina's like her best friend pet situation. I don't know. So right half, bedroom, left half, you have like a little tea time area, and then you have the plushies to play with and just generally be cute. And then you have, you know, makeup and your nail art set and magazines. And the tea area I wasn't happy with. I played with these 3 items forever and then just realized the problem isn't the 3 items. The problem is I need more items. So I threw in these frosted cookies, which are so cute. And then while I was looking at tiny items, I was like, oh, let's try some of these other ones. And the plushies ended up getting rearranged a bit because of it. And at this point, I realized I hated the wardrobe and I wanted something at the end of the bed. So we tried a couple things and I decided something that you want access needed to be there. I don't know how I feel about any of the wall items I used. Honestly, I could have stuck with just the plushie shelf, but the mermaid clock ended up staying long term. And here's the final review. I haven't gotten around to decorating the outside area at all, but that's where it's gonna be in the end. And oh, it's just so adorable. I love like the pink in it and the blues. Oh, and the big window aquarium thing in the background looking out into the ocean. Oh, and she just fits in so well with it. It fits her so well. I was so scared doing this one. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing, but it turned out so beautifully. And I want to hang out with Marina. Let's go chill. She was my favorite for years until I met Rasher. Truly just wonderful. And on to our other ocean dweller, Octavian. Here he is in all his glory. And this is what his house looks like before. And here is the after. Basically same shape and everything, just darker. It starts out with a space theme. I wonder if they just mean like he's foreign or something. But, so the general idea of Octavian is that he is the guard octopus for the sharks. The sharks run a high-end resort, and the resort has like a casino and bathhouses and high-end restaurants, but it's kind of a front for their crime. The sharks are basically the mafia. So Octavian is their guard octopus for their treasure trove, and all this right here is just the shark's treasure. Basically, I picked anything that had gold in it and threw it up. Oh, and the shark area is going to be more Asian themed, so bamboo, the imperial set, things like that. And that's why the wallpaper comes in, and the samurai, and the 2 paintings. And here is his final house. It's not in its proper position. I haven't decided where I want to put his house. But there it is, Octavian among his many treasures, while surrounded by immense wealth. And on to Tutu, which brings us to our ice area. She is the queen of the penguins. She was also one of my random move-ins, so she starts with that default house. This is going to be really simple. I'm just throwing down some ice items. I debated putting in more items, but the just shine of the ice, if you put anything else in, it just feels off. Like it doesn't fit with everything else, so keeping it simple. She's Queen Tutu. This is where she gets away and just enjoys when she's not queening. And moving on to one of her subjects, Frigga. So I'm playing all 5 Animal Crossing games right now, every day for this year. And I actually had Frigga as a villager for the first 3 games. So when it was time to choose who I was moving in here, I was like, let's make it a 4th game. And I debated long and hard what I wanted to do for Frigga. Something that would fit her personality and something that would contribute not only to the ice area, but also to the island as a whole. Something that's different from everything else going on. And in the end, I decided to have her run an antique shop. I do have a lot of different shops around the town and things, but none of them are antique stores. And I went with this dark, moody vibe, especially since a lot of the stuff in the village is very light. This is a nice contrast to that and adds a greater spectrum. So here we are going in with the small items, and my recording cut off, but here is the end result. And I decorated her outside with some stuff that like will lure people in to check out the rest of the store. And of course she's crafting, so we don't get to see that corner, but it's just a little clothing rack with like vintage clothes she's selling. And you know, Frigga with her snooty vibes, I feel like she fits the strange stereotype of antique shop owner that I have. An old lady from back east that smokes a pack a day. Overall, I just really love it. I love how junky it looks and just crammed everything is. Oh. And onto Tex's house. And unfortunately, since the footage cut off recording Frigga's and I did Tex's right after, I don't have any footage of the building part, but here is the end result. He runs the tavern for the ice area. Place where you can get a hot meal, get a little drink. It's kind of a fun mix with like the warmth of the fireplace and the food with all the ice all around. And here's our close-up. Aw, he's waving us in. I really need to change all my villagers' clothes because none of them fit their atmosphere. And on to Boomer. So Boomer is interesting. Here is his house before and after. I moved Boomer in because I needed a lazy penguin and he was a lazy penguin and I really didn't know what role to give him. I ended up deciding on being like the resident conspiracy theorist, but since this town's aesthetic is more 1800s, I couldn't do like a modern version of that, so I ended up more like a mad scientist explorer type person. Oh my gosh, and I cracked myself up putting the rubber ducky in there. I just love rubber duckies, and like the thought of it being a captured creature is just hilarious to me. Anyway, so you have this vintage study aesthetic while having these like weird instruments that do who knows what's it. And yeah, I do love the giant mammoth. I love when you can incorporate a fossil into a build. And here we are. He's like distant from everyone else and up on his own separate platform as he's doing his little conspiracy theorizing. Fortunately, once again, we have him cooking, so the dresser that was there and the stuff on it get cut off, but here's the main part of the build. Once again, the ducky suspended. It just cracks me up so much, and I do love the mammoth towering over. I don't know, it's weird. It's not my favorite, but I don't know how to do 18th century nutter. Eccentric, I guess. And there you have it, all 10 builds. Which one did you like the most? Marina's, I love it so much. It makes me very excited to see how the mermaid's domain goes. 3 full-sized houses just for mermaidness. Whew. I'm intimidated. I'm definitely intimidated. I don't know if I can pull it off, but I'm excited to see me pull it off. As I said before, this is the first of 5 speed building videos for Cordelia. I'll start releasing the rest in July because all of June is New Leaf month. So every week of June, I'll be releasing a video that is solely based on New Leaf. But after that, I'll be able to be popping these out like every other week. In fact, the island is already halfway done. If you're joining me on stream, then you've seen where it is right now. I really appreciate you sticking it out till the end. I'll see you next week for our first New Leaf month video. And until then, I really do truly hope you have the loveliest of lovely day. Goodbye.